Unfortunately, many times we don't make a prenuptial
Right,
agreement.
right.
But we would have made a contract, and in that point, Lisa, you and I, it doesn't matter who works more or who does more. It matters what the ownership is, which is 50-50 in a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of women don't understand. They're thinking like, oh, if he earns more than I do.
Welcome to the Joy Act. I'm Dr. Lisa Summerour. Here, you'll discover how to find joy beyond divorce, because divorce is not a destination.
Okay, welcome. We are in Brooklyn, New York, and we are standing outside. We're at Industrial City in Brooklyn, New York. I've never been here before. Have you been here before?
Absolutely not. Nope.
So we are at
Rachel Rogers Hello 7.
It's a Hello 7 mastermind.
Entrepreneurs in progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is one of our retreats. This is actually my first retreat. Is this your first one?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, this is a great one. So I am Dr. Lisa Summerour. I'm a breakup and divorce coach. I work with professional women who are going through a divorce or they're in the middle of a divorce, and they want to make sure that they're doing what they can to overcome the heartache, rebuild their confidence, and the most important thing, learn to live with joy beyond the divorce, because it's possible. I'm proof. And I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
Yes, I also work with women in divorce. I work on the financial end of stuff, so I support women in navigating the process from the first filing all the way through the end, what needs to be done, what needs to be tended to. I would say my main superpower in that process is really just being side by side. It's such a time of so much grieving, and in that moment you have to crunch a lot of numbers, and the stakes are really high about the decisions you make financially. And then I also support women on the other side of that. You set them up for joy, I set them up for financial thriving.
Yes, tell them your name.
Mary Julia Cordero.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
So we wanted to have a conversation because when I'm talking with women, one of the things that I talk about is you need to have a support team. You need more than just a divorce attorney. So a lot of people get an attorney, obviously, to go through a divorce. I'm not going to say all the time because I've done two where I did it myself. So you may not even always have an attorney, but one of the things that's really important is to have somebody who understands the finances, not just to get you through the divorce, but beyond the divorce, so that you are as stable as you can be financially, because I really think that the financial issue is one of the main reasons people stay in bad situations.
Absolutely.
Because they financially can't afford to get out on their own. And I think it's one of the reasons the statistics will tell you women's income drops drastically typically after divorce. It is a myth. I just did a podcast last month. It's a myth that women get rich because of a divorce. Even you laughed. I cracked up.
Oh my gosh, as anyone.
Yeah, I
Here,
laughed.
met a woman that's had that experience.
Yep. When I did it on the show, I couldn't get it out without laughing, because I know too many women who are divorced, and especially if you're divorced with children.
Yes.
Your income takes a dive. So you really want to have somebody who knows how to guide you through. What do you have now? What do you need to do, and how you need to set things up? What are some of the biggest problems you see? If you could say the top three.
Oh yeah.
Women going through a divorce should know.
Yeah, I would say the first glaring one, number one, far above every other one, is the understanding that a marriage is, you have to think of it in this legal construct like it's a business partnership. So in a business partnership, if we signed up to do business together, we were partners, hopefully we would have made a contract. Unfortunately, many times we don't make a prenuptial agreement.
Right.
But we would have made a contract, and in that point, Lisa, you and I, it doesn't matter who works more or who does more. It matters what the ownership is, which is 50-50 in a partnership. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of women don't understand. They're thinking like, oh, if he earns more than I do, which statistically he probably does, because that's the world we live in. Mm-hmm. I don't have ownership of that money he earned.
Hi, I want to share something with you just for a moment. If you've been through a difficult divorce, you know that moving on isn't just about time passing. It's about having the right framework to rebuild. I've created a masterclass, 4 essential steps to creating joy after a difficult divorce. It's where I walk you through my signature system to help you go from surviving to truly thriving. Now, here's what makes it different. Most advice, including a lot of therapy, focuses on what went wrong. My approach focuses on what comes next, specifically the 4 pillars that create lasting transformation. Because here's the truth. You can't build a joyful life on the foundation of your old patterns. You need something new, something that actually works. In this masterclass, you'll discover exactly what those 4 pillars are and how to apply them. The link is in the description below. Now, let's get back to this episode.
They're thinking like, oh, if he earns more than I do, which statistically he probably does,
Yes.
because that's the world we live in. I don't have ownership of that money he earned, and that is like a huge, absolutely not. That's not how it works.
Right.
It's a legal partnership. You own 50% of what comes into that marriage.
I'm loving hearing this because
Yeah.
when I'm hearing this, one of the things, we're going to have to do stuff together.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I would be telling a person in that situation, a woman, is stop looking at the dollars as the only point of value. What is the value that you bring to that relationship? And I don't have the numbers, but I remember years ago somebody did a cost analysis of what a housewife should get paid.
Like the invisible labor.
Yeah, the invisible labor that a
Yep.
woman does in a home. And so you have to figure out what your value is. And even if you have housekeeping, I had one man I heard talk, he was very wealthy, married a younger woman. It was his second or third or fourth, because with men, who counts? No one counts.
Right, that's an excellent
And
point,
someone said to him, oh, you just have arm candy. And he said, no. He said, I brought stability, wisdom, and wealth. She brought youth, energy, and encouragement, and she made him feel like living. And so there are these intangible things that we bring into relationships that we don't really think about, and we don't look at it as the value because we're only looking at the money.
Yeah.
So one of them is the 50-50 partnership. What's something else you should know?
Well, I'll say I actually want to respond to what you say, because one of the things that lights up for me is I'm like, I don't care if you did no invisible labor. Maybe you never washed clothes.
Right.
I don't care. You still get 50%.
Yep.
That's
That's the agreement.
Like, it's not, so like, it's like, I don't want you to think about like, how valuable was it and how much money does that make and is it enough and should I have done more laundry? It's like, I don't really care.
Yeah, and that's what this
actually not what
gentleman
we're
was
talking about.
saying. His wife didn't do anything. She was young, she
Right.
had energy, and she made him feel good.
Right.
That was her contribution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is that gathering the financial pieces of a divorce is really new for a lot of women because we're not encouraged to pursue financial literacy.
Right.
And we're encouraged to hand that power over, and the stories we tell ourselves are like, it's too confusing, I'm not good at math.
They'll take care of it.
They'll take care of it. And
He's
so,
paying the attorney.
yeah, all kinds of things. So I think a lot of it is like, there's a mindset of like, you are actually perfectly capable of understanding what's happening financially. It doesn't mean there won't be parts where you're not like, I don't want to do this. Absolutely. But you are perfectly capable of understanding how to understand your household budget and your assets and your liabilities. And that doesn't have to be scary. And
Right.
it's something that I offer that I think is really powerful is the side by side.
That's what I was going to say.
It's the
because
side by
I think
side,
even
yeah.
if you have that feeling, having somebody who can explain it to
Absolutely.
you is what's key.
It matters
Yeah,
so
it's
much.
that there's that fear of feeling ignorant. My grandmother used to say, don't be afraid of the word ignorant, it just means you don't know. It's that fear of I don't know, but when you don't know, you find somebody who does, who is able to show you.
Yeah. And then especially the third thing would be especially because it's high stakes.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can make decisions at the settlement table that have an impact on your ability to thrive. And if you're informed about what's okay to ask for and what you should be asking for and what you need to set yourself up for thriving and what you legally, even if we take all the psychology out of it, what you just legally deserve.
Right, yes.
Then you are going to be in a better position to move forward. And it's a huge transition, right? But it can be a financial annihilation. Or it can just be like, we're in a transition, this is what's happening, some things are changing, and how do I set those things up to be able to move forward a lot more gracefully?
Oh, I was thinking the same word, to move forward with grace and ease. It's really possible.
Yes.
There is something that happens when you really don't know. It heightens the insecurity, the fear, the anxiety is all heightened. And even though there may be apprehension around knowing what's really going on, you're going to be so much better off when you know than when you don't know. And so it's that financial education. It's like anything else. You have another one that women that you see that happens a lot during the marriage that they could look for or they could plan ahead for during the divorce. I'm sorry.
I think I think being side by side with someone with numbers is really important, like you say, and a lot of that is just because you are experiencing grief brain. On top of the fact that you did not get financial education is just the reality of grief
Yes.
is that it really eats away at your functioning.
100%.
So you can know things or understand things, but about money, and then you sit in front of those pieces of paper
And you blank out.
It's gone. You don't know it anymore.
Right.
So a lot of advice, like, it's not even financial advice as much as, like, I've been in finance. I've seen so many people in this experience of, like, it's not you. It's grief.
So
just be compassionate.
Yeah, so one of the things that I take people through is the loss cycle. And the loss cycle is very much like the grief cycle. When you have a death, there's a loss cycle when you go through a relationship coming to an end. And when you're in that shock stage or that disbelief stage, that's usually very early in the process.
Crunch numbers.
And then someone is saying to you, okay, let's talk about your finances. And it's like, that's why you want to have us. To be able to keep you mentally in the game, because there is a lot of this that feels a little bit like a game that you didn't know you were playing.
Yes.
You want to keep your head in what's going on, and you want somebody that actually knows what you should be paying attention to. And that's why this is so beneficial. What are some of the benefits for women who take this kind of advice, who have this kind of support? How do you see them coming through their divorces differently than the women who don't?
Firstly, what the feedback I get over and over is just like, total, like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I get that one, like, really, like, they can't even express, because we don't share numbers with each other anyways, so there's, even if it weren't a divorce, it would be this, like, oh my gosh, you're gonna help me with my numbers. But particularly in a divorce, because the brain is really struggling. So I see them come out with, I think there's a way to come out of divorce where you just feel like you got screwed.
Yes,
right.
And I think that happens to a lot of, and in fairness, that happens to a lot of men and women.
Yeah,
right?
And that sets a tone for the rest of your life. Here you are in one of the most major life transitions, and that tone you came out with is like, I got taken advantage of.
Yes.
And I think when you work with someone who helps you understand what's going on, I love what you said about a game, even though we don't like to acknowledge it. Once you step into, I mean, the construct of marriage is, it's rooted in patriarchy, and it's built like a business, even though we don't think about it that way.
We go into it with this emotional kind of thing.
I love, and that's fine. I'm married. I love my marriage. And
welcome to Brooklyn!
And so I think that it's the possibility that you can come out with a tone of, like, I understand that what happened was not about my failure.
Right.
And that is
good.
Such a different, like, I see the thing. I see the legal exchange we're in. I see the financial exchange, transition that we're in, and now I'm setting myself up for this next phase.
Yes.
And it's a different sense of ownership than I really got screwed. So I think that tone, when you set that tone at the end of the transition is really, really huge.
This is great. My framework is AACT, and the first part of it is accountability. It's accountability, alignment, communication, and trust. And this is you taking accountability. Having a coach to help you with the mental, the emotional aspects of it, having a coach that can help you with the financial aspects of it. That is what empowerment looks like. It's you taking ownership, because otherwise you will come through feeling kind of victimized. And you'll learn things.
That's the right word.
You'll learn things after the divorce that you're like, oh, I wish I had known. I wish somebody had told me. And so really do the homework. If you are going through a divorce, let me put it this way. If you know one is coming, you're on the brink of one, you're not even talking about it yet. I literally just had this conversation with someone in line who talked about having a breakup. They haven't talked in 5 years. They broke up. She said, good person, but not right for me. And he just got married recently. She said, but after she did it, she interviewed 40 people about their breakups. And I said, what did you learn? She said, I learned that a lot of people know the relationships are over way before they break up. I tell people the marriage happens emotionally before you go to the altar. The divorce happens emotionally before you start getting paperwork. You already know that there is a disintegration of the relationship. And many people know they want a divorce. They have no idea what steps to take.
They don't know what steps to take, and they're scared they won't be financially okay.
And that's why you need to have us.
If you are curious about it, just like get a consult.
Exactly. Have a
consultation. Get the lay of the land.
Exactly.
So and if you know someone, I was going to say too, if you know someone, a lot of times women won't ask for the help, or they're nervous, or they think they're supposed to figure it out themselves. If you know someone that you know is headed down this path, like absolutely set them up with it. You are
and it can be a little touchy to go, hey, So I got somebody you might want to talk to.
Right.
And it's like, who is it? It's a divorce coach. Or it's a finance person that works with women going through divorce. And they're like, what are you saying?
I'm not divorcing.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're fine.
But you could also say it as like, check yourself.
You know who I just heard about?
See if that's a match for you.
Share this video with them and say, you know what? I just saw this little mini podcast and I want you to just take a look at it and tell me what you think.
We're not gonna make you have a divorce.
Exactly. No, we don't.
We don't
force divorce on people.
It's just
I had someone
see what
say,
it's like.
so do you help women like get a divorce? No, or do you promote divorce? No, I don't promote divorce, but I hear that it's almost 50% of the population that's married is going to end up there. And it's just the reality. It was my experience, and I think for many of us, either we've gone through the experience or we know people who have.
Yeah.
So you started off doing finance, not specifically for divorced women.
Yeah.
What was your reason for transitioning to work with divorced women? Because I think that's interesting.
I don't know why I'm giggling, but it's sort of like when your life path has been set out the whole time, but you've been ignoring it. You know, I actually have not experienced divorce. I'm happily married. Sometimes I'm irritatedly married, but mostly happily. For 19 years. My mom was married and divorced 4 times.
Oh, your mom and I have something in common. But who's counting?
Exactly. But okay, so I grew up with that. That was before I was 18.
Okay.
And I was in the generation where the liberation in parenting was be best friends with your kid, because the generation before that was like,
strict. I'm not your friend.
Right, I'm not your friend. So I was very intimate in those divorces.
Right.
And then throughout my life, I have continually been very attracted to women who are starting a divorce or been through a divorce or are single parents, recently single parents. And at some point I was like, do I have an issue? Like, do I have unhealed wounds? And I was finally like, it just feels like home. So there's something about the way I'm wired
that just lend yourself to it.
I have such openness for it.
I'm looking at my watch because we have a session to start in like 3 minutes. But I want to thank you so much for doing this.
I'm
going to have our contact information will be below this so that you know how to reach both of us, either one of us. And we hope this session has been this podcast, this episode has blessed you in some way and given you some information that you didn't have before. So thank you so much. And whatever you do, go out there and act and joy.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.